Good morning and welcome to a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We want to thank the head ball coach, Stephen Orr Spurrier, for our introduction today. He does a tremendous job uh, doing that. I saw him yesterday, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a piece of
What
work. He's a
were
piece of
y'all
work.
eating yesterday? Did y'all have lunch together?
No, we crossed paths at a office, a business office. He was doing a bunch of cameos. I was picking up some stuff, but he does so many damn cameos, JC, a week. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
What's an ambassador supposed to do?
Well, people are paying about $400 for him to say "Happy birthday, JC. Glad you're a great Gator or you're a great Gamecock." That dude makes so much money doing cameos. It's crazy.
I love it.
All
Why
right,
don't
so
you do those? I mean, you should be
I
doing
do.
some of the.
Well, the people that do his do mine, and more people would like the head ball coach to say "Happy Anniversary" than they would me. And plus, I'm much cheaper than him, though.
Uh,
Um, we got a good show lineup today. We got JC. Then we'll have Matt McCall, former Gator basketball assistant, former head coach at UMass and Chattanooga. Now works for NBC Sports as a broadcaster for them, but he is the head coach of the Gator uh, alumni team or whatever you want to call it for the basketball tournament for $1 million. He and Torian Green are spearheading that. They're going to be playing an exhibition here sometime in July here in Gainesville. But Corey Brewer, Lee Humphrey, all these old guys trying to win them $1 million. Matt to kind of break it down for the people that aren't familiar with this tournament that's been going on for years, but they never had a Gator team, and now they do. So
yeah.
Matt will be joining us about 8:30. We'll talk about that. What do you got, JC? Did the White Sox win last night? I mean,
No, they lost. I think they lost the doubleheader to the Blue
why in the
Jays.
hell are you wearing a White Sox hat?
Because I'm
Are
going
they
to
in
be in.
first place?
No, I'm going to be in. No, they're not. They're woefully failing this year. They are 37 and 52, fourth in the AL Central, which is the worst division in baseball. And they're terrible. But I'm going to Chicago tomorrow, and I'm not wearing a Cubs hat. So if I lived in Chicago, I'd be a Sox fan.
What airport are you flying into, JC?
We're going to be flying into O'Hare, direct on United Airlines from Jacksonville. And I got to pick my meal yesterday. I picked lemon chicken and potatoes for the flight tomorrow. So very excited about that. During the lunch hour from 11 to 1, you have to eat something, not just drink all throughout the flight. So that's what will be served tomorrow on United's flights from Jacksonville to Chicago. But Chicago has many suburbs, and in those suburbs are some really great golf courses. I don't know if there's anybody who's watching our show today, listening, or cares about the city of Chicago, but outside of the downtown area, of course, you have some great little towns like Naperville and Joliet and Orland Park, and you got golf courses everywhere. And so this is the time of year
There's a
where they
lot of good golf courses.
a lot of good golf courses there. So we're excited about going to Cog Hill this weekend and then planning a charity for Ronald McDonald. So that's what we're doing. And then so I'm not going to be available on Monday, but I'll be back on the following Wednesday. So, but I was thinking about baseball and QB. It's amazing right now. The team that's clearly, I mean, who would you say is clearly the favorite today to win the World Series? Who would you say?
The Atlanta Braves and the
Without
Tampa
a
Bay.
doubt.
Atlanta
Without
Braves
a
are
doubt.
clearly the best team.
Without a doubt. And even if the Braves, and I set you up for this, even if the Braves go 500 the rest of the way, they would finish 30 games over 500, be at 96 and 66. And they're on a better track than the famous 1995 Braves. And the 95 Braves, we all remember John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Steve Avery, and Greg Maddux. That was a rotation, right? Smoltz, Glavine, Avery, and Maddux. And they won the World Series. Or was it 94? Either way, either one of those 2 years. Bobby Cox was manager. They always won the division. And so if they went 500, they'd still finish 30 games over 500 if they went 500 the second half of the year. So
Yeah, they're very good. Got a text here saying the HBC charges only $229 for cameos, JC, and he donates half his money to local charities. Yes, I did know that. He does a tremendous job doing that. JC, is today your birthday?
No, my birthday's always the Florida Georgia weekend, October
Oh,
29th.
because Gene on here, not the Gene that you know, he said, "Good morning and happy birthday, JC." Uh,
No, thank you for that, Gene. I'll take it. October 29th. My birthday always falls on Florida Georgia weekend. Oh, or during the week
okay.
of, or on the weekend.
Andy's a Chicago guy. He wants to know where you're going, JC. He says you
Yes,
should play Medina. Are y'all getting on Medina?
I would love to, but we're playing Dubs Dread, which is
That's
at
too
Cog
much
Hill.
golf course for you. Medina's way too much golf course for you, JC. Way too much.
They do have tees that go up for the close to 60-year-olds that play golf. So, look, Cog Hill, Tiger Woods won at Cog Hill. They played the old Western Open there at Cog Hill. They had a World Golf Challenge event there at Cog Hill, I believe.
I've played there multiple times. Multiple times.
Yeah. Did you
Good
play
golf
the Dubs Dread course, the number 4
I played
course?
like all of them. I get them all confused. All those golf courses in Chicago, I played all of them, and there's some beautiful ones there. Tony says, "Happy 70th birthday, JC." All right. So we got some text here on the Titanmar text line. If you want to text the program, which a bunch of people have, and they do it at nighttime most of the time. 352-353-7465. I don't know who this is from. It said, Shane, thinking about the stadium upgrades, what would you think about you at developing a stadium app for your smartphone? You could place mobile orders for food and drinks and have items prepaid, and you could quickly pick up your items at a kiosk rather than waiting in a line. Also, you could have more interaction with fans before and during games with updates, crowd games, and rewards. You ever heard of that, JC? You love going. Would you like to be able to do that from your phone? Go, bring me 2 beers and 2 hot dogs.
They do that at the Texas Rangers baseball games. I don't know why they wouldn't do it here, right? Yeah. I'm just thrilled that they're thinking about doing something. Things slowly over there at UF, but they're moving now, and things haven't moved so slowly actually anymore. Billy's got a staff of 700 coaches and whatever. They've got plenty of manpower over there to do whatever they want.
We got another text on the Titanmore text line. This is from our South Florida FootJoy rep, I think. That's what it says here. Joy, JC doesn't wear FootJoys. He likes.
This is a FootJoy shirt, right? Absolutely, hell yes, it is. From the beautiful Golden Eagle Golf Club in Tallahassee, Florida.
He says, for the contest, instead of dinner, how about a round of golf with you and JC? By the way, you have more golf listeners than you think. Keep the golf chat coming. Thanks for
this golf is great. QB, this is what's carrying us right now.
There's nothing else going on in the world. There's Wimbledon going on that lasts. Wimbledon lasts, what, about 5 weeks, it seems like?
It does seem that.
It takes forever.
It does. And, they had some weather issues. You just can't play in the rain. If it rains for 5 minutes, tennis is canceled. I'm trying to find out what Ben Shelton did in the second round.
He lost.
Oh, you already saw that.
Yeah, Andy says Cog Hill's in Lamont, Illinois. Big Polish community there, JC. So be careful.
That's right. Yeah. Big going to be there.
Tony says, okay, see, this is why we have great listeners. So the texter was talking about that app bringing food and all that stuff. Tony says all that stuff is already on the Florida Gators app. You order food and go get it. I didn't know that. I guess if I don't sit in the stands, that's why I don't know that.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that either, because where I go, you just have it sitting out there for you. But listen, whatever makes the experience better for the fans. And by the way, yes, Lamont, Illinois, I'll be staying in Naperville, so it's not that far. But
Naperville I told you about Naperville. That's where I won on the Celebrity Golf Tour.
You did say that. You said that.
I won the Michael Jordan Celebrity Golf event on the Celebrity Tour in 1990. Was it 94 or 96? $25,000, beat Al Del Greco on the last 2 holes to win it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. It took me about a year and a half to get paid, though. But
oh, really? Wow. And you probably had, because it was in Illinois, you won 25,000 and kept 12.
I don't remember.
Good job.
That was 30 years ago.
Well, they like to tax you in that state. That's a tax state. Welcome to the tax state of Illinois. Welcome to the tax state of New York, Massachusetts. Welcome to the tax state of California.
So
Welcome.
Daniel wants another. He's seconding to have a golf match with me and you and some other people. What we may have to do is we may have to have an auction and donate it to charity for people to play golf with us. JC, what do you think about that?
Make some money. Hey, you look, Dan's in Dallas, right? I love Dallas.
No,
I love.
this is Daniel. I don't know where
Oh,
Daniel
Dan.
is.
Okay, yeah. No, we'll take on all comers, QB. All comers. Bring them on. Take them all on. Just bring what you can afford to lose, and we'll take on all comers. Whatever you want to do. How's that? Does that sound good?
Ruse
You
Ogre
think
State
you're up for
Farm
that?
offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Speaking with JC on the Titanmore Hotline, we'll have Matt McCall. Well, he's the head coach of the Gatorverse basketball team with the former Gators that'll be playing for $1 million, JC. $1 million. What do you think about that?
Why don't we have one of those golf matches for $1 million? Look. How about this, QB? Are your eyes working now? Apparently, you had some eye issues. Your eyes fixed? Is that what's going on? Are you okay? Because I don't want to play golf with a blind man. Okay.
Well, JC.
Wait, what?
I will never be the same golfer I used to be, but my last 3 rounds are 76, 75, 74.
Okay, so your eyes work now. So now
no, I still don't feel comfortable on the golf course. My depth perception's still screwed up. But
well, you're getting older, QB. You just celebrated some birthday here recently, did you not? So I mean, another trip around the sun for you. But yeah, we'll play anybody. Whatever they want, QB. Just throw it out there. Make some money.
Make some money for charity.
Yeah,
do that. Charity. All right. On the John Deere Classic, JC, remember who you picked? You picked Zach Johnson, and I can't even read my writing on the other guy you picked. Ricky somebody.
I took Richie Warinsky.
Okay.
Who, by the way, is tied for 3rd right now, baby.
He is, isn't he? I took I took Chris Kirk and Eric Cole.
Oh, you know who's going to win this? If it's not my guy Richie Warinsky, who I picked out of nowhere, it could be Cam Young getting on the winning.
Well, Cameron Young's got way too much talent and not playing real well.
But you know what's amazing, QB? After one round, the leader's only -9.
Did you see on Twitter? They got those silly ass teams in the live, and Matt Wolf is on Koepka's team, and Koepka has dogged him and said he is wasting so much talent that he don't want him on his team anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny. Some of these guys, they run off to the live, never hear about them anymore. Matthew Wolf. How many times have we mentioned his name in the last 12 months?
He's the one with the really weird swing.
You love him, and
I did like him.
You picked him every week. You love that guy.
So JC, I want to bring this up because I briefly mentioned it yesterday when Edgar was on, but we had to go. The show was over. But there's so many, and I think you're aware of this as well. So many legacy people that went to the University of Florida where their kids don't get into school. So they had a thing on Twitter the other day. This is Wednesday. I saw the student acceptance rate at all the SEC schools. So since there ain't a whole lot to talk about, and people like to talk about this because it pisses me off. Listen to this. This is student acceptance rate. I guess they're meaning when you send your information in, you either get accepted or you don't. I don't know. 7% at Vandy, 30% at Florida, 40% at Georgia, 62% at South Carolina, 64% at A&M, 71% at Auburn, 71% at LSU, 75% Tennessee, 76% at Mississippi State, 77% at Missouri, 79% at Alabama, 83% at Arkansas, 90% at Ole Miss, and 94% at Kentucky.
How about that?
If I'm reading this right, that means I said yesterday, if you have a heartbeat and you send in your information, you will be accepted pretty much to Alabama, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Kentucky.
Well, if you live in the state of Ohio, you will be accepted into Ohio State University too. So there are just different standards.
Well, but that's not the case at Florida, is my point. That's the whole point of the
school.
You're
right. It's really not. Wonder why. Why don't you tell me why that is, QB?
Well, it really pisses me off. It's because they want out of the country students, and they definitely want out of state students. But as I've told many people these stories before, I've known valedictorians that come out of Cambridge programs, out of IB programs that get full rides to Harvard and Yale, but
Yeah,
get denied
yeah.
to come to the University of Florida and live down the street. So
I think
makes no
they they
sense.
they maybe I might be wrong about this. Most people will probably say I am wrong about this, but could it be a quota system over there at UF? Maybe, possibly. The Supreme Court just ruled down the affirmative action rule for college admissions, and some Ivy League schools have basically said, "Well, we don't care. We're going to do what we want as far as admitting students." But they're also possibly going to be sanctioned if that happens because now it's a law. So anyhow, having said that, University of Florida sounds like to me they decide what and who they want and how many.
Yeah, which
And listen,
the reason we were talking about it because we were talking about renovating the stadium, and I said they don't need to do anything to the east side of the stadium because that's where the visitors and the student body sits. The student
I know
body has been horrible ever
you say
since
this.
admissions has gone away from bringing legacy kids because those kids are in Tallahassee, Tampa, and Orlando going to school, and
Well,
that is ruining
you
the
said a lot.
atmosphere at athletic events. Is my point.
Well, one of the things I remember you saying, I don't know when it was, but I do recall you saying that some of the problems with Florida's having issues with attracting people to the games and the stadiums is that a lot of the kids that are at school that attend the university have no interest or background following the university or being a part of the university or were raised in a family that was. And
Right, I just
so
said they're in Tallahassee,
they don't care.
they're in Orlando, or they're in Tampa at those universities, or they're down at FAU or
Yeah.
somewhere like that. So until they change that, it's not the same. The kids that grew up tailgating every Saturday, getting autographs and all that stuff, throwing the football around in the parking lots and in the grass and
Yeah.
tailgating, they're
Yeah.
not able to come to the University of Florida, and
I,
it's
I
sad.
was accepted to the University of Florida as a
Well,
outgoing
JC,
high school
it
student.
was different when
Only
it was different when you
wait.
were in school.
I was only accepted in the summer A program because my SAT score was so pathetically low. But I had good grades and a good ACT score, and my dad was a tenured professor. Today, they would take my application, and they wouldn't even look at it. So you're right; it's very different today. And maybe this is what they're chasing, this top 10 ranking of schools.
Which I don't care
We're so
about any
proud
of
of
that,
that. Everybody talks about how great that is. Top 10 this, top 5 that. Well, what about the kids in Jacksonville that want to come here?
Yeah.
What's more important, QB?
Well, I mean, when you ask me, and it's my show, I don't give a crap about the top 5 public education. I really don't.
I don't either.
Because here's the point: because this show is sports driven, when you talk about the athletic programs at the University of Florida, yes, you can have these signs and you can tell, like, the athletic director, whoever can get up in front of these kids when they're being recruited, the material you send out, yeah, Florida's the top 5. The players, they look at that and they throw it over. They do not care. It's where can I go play, win, and go make money as a professional. Now,
Sure.
obviously, if you have a degree from a top 5 education, at some point, that's great. But it
Well,
does not matter.
undergrad degrees get you to graduate school. That's pretty much it. Or you need to meet some people or intern somewhere to get a job. Simple as that. It's about contacts. But listen, everybody should be proud of getting an undergrad degree, whatever school they went to, and that'll help you go from there to another school in all likelihood. So, or find a job at some entry level place.
Yeah, Daniel says his niece got in with ridiculous stats. She already has her season tickets on the student side, so she's excited. Good.
I know 2 people who never went to college. One's a multimillionaire who's my age, and another one makes $106,000 as an overhead employee and loves the job. They never went to college. So,
it's overrated, right?
Well, I don't know if it's overrated, but I don't think it's 1,000% necessary with the way it costs today and all of the garbage that in and garbage out you catch. But listen, I'm proud of all the schools especially the one I graduated from, the one I attended after that. So, that's my story. But there's a lot of stories out there that don't include that. There's a lot
Agree.
a lot of them.
All right, let's get to this day in sports. Brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. I think everybody remembers where they were when this happened.
Okay.
2001, the first appearance at the Daytona 500 since the death of his father, Dale Earnhardt Sr. Dale Jr. won the Pepsi 400, coming from seventh with 9 laps remaining to beat teammate Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, and I do remember exactly where I was when Dale Earnhardt hit the wall in the last lap as the leader of the Daytona 500. So, there's just certain things in sports you remember that you'll never forget.
So, JC, let me ask you this real quick, because, time's gone by pretty fast today. We're going to get to Matt McCall here and talk about the Gatorverse basketball team. Are you going to be going into downtown Chicago at all?
Yeah. Well, no, we're going to fly into O'Hare, and then I'll just Lyft or Uber down to Naperville. The downtown area.
So you're not going to go to the city?
Well, we'll probably go, we'll probably drive up to the city on one days we're there. I don't know if the charity event is close to that or not, but we'll probably spend.
You can't be that close to downtown Chicago and not go down there.
I've been there before, QB. I've been on Michigan Avenue.
I know, but you need to go back down there and go sightsee.
Well, I've been to
go down to Michigan Avenue and buy your wife something nice.
I've been to the top of the Cock, 95th floor, had drinks in the fog, the Windy City. You can feel the building move. So I've felt the 4 below zero temperatures near the old Soldier Field down there where the museum. I've seen all that. I've been, but QB, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to the 75-degree weather, and I'm looking for that 62-degree overnight temperature. I'm looking forward to that for a couple of days. But I'm a Florida guy. This doesn't bother me. Everybody complains about how hot it is. I can tell you this. The guys complaining about it are my age, your age, whatever. When they were growing up in this area, I can pretty much assure you that it was in the 90s in July. All right, so it's funny how when you get older, things get worse. I don't know why.
No, heat does not bother me. It's hotter than it. Dude, it's on record. I saw on the news this morning. It's the hottest the Earth has ever been. 4 straight days.
Yeah, but I'm saying in Gainesville, 94 degrees in July is the norm. Would you rather have? Let me ask you this: would you trade what we have today for what those poor souls up in Chicago and Buffalo go through in January?
No. Like I said, heat does not bother me. And then people talk about it's too hot to play golf. I disagree with that.
Please,
totally
just drink some water, get some water, and get out there and play. My God, I complain all the time about how much it rains here, and then when it doesn't, it's hot. Big deal. Give me the hot. I'll play in that all day long. If the Earth is warm, the Earth is warm. There's more people on the Earth. But I think listen. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I don't know why people complain about the weather when it's not raining. I do know why they complain about the weather when it is raining, QB. Things get canceled when that happens. But yeah. Come
on. JC, it's almost in the Major League All-Star game. Did you know that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The first half of the year, if the Braves do what they do and go 500, the second half of the year, they're going to finish 30 games above 500 for the season, and that's almost 100 wins for them. They're the odds-on favorite. If they stay healthy, Strider, some of those pitchers they have, unbelievable. They can hit the ball anywhere. They win all the time. I'll tell you another team to keep your eye on since we're talking about the halfway point. Look at the Reds, what they've done. What an improvement with them. And, I think Tampa Bay still, after getting pretty much beat down by the Phillies this weekend for some reason, Tampa Bay is still going to be very strong in the American League East. That's a tough division. And I think it's also nice to see the team out, who's playing the Dodgers, the Giants, the Padres, and the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are another team that nobody talks about, doesn't care about, former World Series champions with Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson. But that is a team that's leading in the American League West. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw the Reds coming. And I think you better watch out for the Orioles, too, in the American League East.
Did you know today is what, Friday? Oh, this is a pretty good series here. I'm looking at the Braves and the Rays are playing down in Tampa.
Yeah, I hope they get some fans down there for the weekend.
Why don't you go, JC? Oh, you're going to Chicago.
I'll be in Chicago. The White Sox, by the way, are playing at the at the ball at Comiskey. I guess it's still called Comiskey. I don't know. They call it something else now. I always call it Comiskey. It's a newer stadium, newer Comiskey on the south side. And so we'll be somewhat close to that. I might be able to talk my guys into going and watch White Sox. I don't know why we would. They're awful. But sometimes you go to these games just to go to a game and enjoy the weather.
Go get you a souvenir, one of those little souvenir ice cream batting helmets.
Oh, QB. I mean, yeah. I mean, you got I was really hoping the Cubs would be in town, but the Cardinals are in town. White Sox, Cardinals, the Cardinals will be in town.
So they stink too this year.
They're not good this
year. Did I hear this or read this correctly, or did I dream it?
Yeah.
Are the Braves thinking about trading for Ohtani?
I didn't hear that. I did not.
I could have sworn
But the Braves are a team that lost Freddie Freeman after they won the World Series, and they're still as good as they have been with Freddie Freeman, I think.
Comiskey is called Guaranteed Field now.
Guaranteed. Okay, sure. Call it whatever. It's in the same spot that the old Comiskey Park was in the south side of town. Kind of a rough neighborhood from what I've heard, but I don't know if it's any worse than where the United Center is in the west part of town. The west part of town is worse than the south side of town, I think, in terms of crime. So just got to be careful where you go, but it's a massive place, and there's a lot of people there. So Cardinals in town for the White Sox. I don't know. Maybe they'll say, let's go to the ballpark for 4. I wouldn't mind going for 3 or 4 innings. Just go there, have a few beers. Yeah, whatever.
When he says when he went there, it was called U.S. Cellular. Remember that?
Was it? The White Sox used to be red and white. They used to have red hats instead of black.
They've been multiple. They were red, white, and blue.
Yeah, they were the dark blue that Carlton Fisk played for them. They had these old.
They had the big stripe with socks. Yeah, that's for like little league teams. They went to that for a long time.
In the 70s, when Bucky Dent played for them, they had red pinstripes with white jerseys and red hats. Rich Gossage, by the way, another great Yankee, played for the White Sox early in his career. Bucky Dent, Rich Gossage, all played for the White Sox early in their career before anybody knew who they were. I don't know. The White Sox did win a World Series in the 90s. I can tell you that. I think it was the 90s.
There's a text on the Titan Mark text line.
Early 2000s, I think.
Text on the Titan Mark text line from William. He lives up in Atlanta, Georgia. He says, I'm not very excited about the Gators revamping the swamp.
Well, has William sat in the place?
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I'm sure he has.
Well, he's not excited. I guess
there's a lot of people that aren't, JC, for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't understand that one bit. Not one bit. I mean, sitting on a bench seat with people all around you, sweating your tail off. It's not comfortable. You can't walk through the concourse. The east and west side are unwalkable, dude. You got people lined up waiting for popcorn and Cokes, and other people bathrooms, lines converging into each other, and you can't even walk through the damn place. It's obsolete. They need to do some things, QB. They need to do some things, and they are.
Well, they're going to do things. They're going to do things. So
you're darn right. That's
all right, JC. Well,
all right.
How many days of golf are you playing again?
Playing Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
But I mean, how are you playing? Are all these rounds part of the charity event, or
the Monday, Tuesday is? I'm just doing Sunday because it's there. I mean, I gotta go, right? I gotta play golf. So I don't think I will see a White Sox game, and that's okay. I'm not missing anything there. But I think the golf is going to be fun, and the 75-degree weather is going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. We have a friend right now who's in Chicago coming back the day I'm getting there tomorrow, and he said it's been awesome up there weather-wise. So
yeah, well, he's been indoors all day.
He has.
All right.
That's right.
All right, JC, have a good trip.
Okay.
We'll talk to you when you get back.
Oh, and watch Richie Warinsky. Somebody took him out of nowhere to win.
Well, JC, it's one round. You say that every week, and then your guy ends up like 50th. All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline. We're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to come back. We'll be joined by Matt McCall. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peaceland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte.
Campus USA Credit Union.
QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, and watch. Our gridiron sponsors are
Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wibby, Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Visor's Rooftop, Bass Pro Shops, Dave & Buster's, Fat Tuesday, Starbucks, and the HBC's restaurant. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, the hottest restaurant in Florida in the heart of Gator Nation. That's Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Now we're going to go back to the Titan MR hotline. We're joined by Matt McCall, who's a Gator, coached under Billy Donovan. Matt, how you doing, my man? Welcome. You're on the Titan MR hotline.
Doing great, Shane. Appreciate you having me on, man. Excited to talk some hoops.
Yes, absolutely. As many people may know, as you worked under Billy Donovan, then went off and was the head coach at UMass and Chattanooga. And now you're going to be the head coach of, I guess it's called Team Gatorverse. It's part of the basketball tournament, which, you know, I'm one of those guys in the summertime, I'd flip through the channels and I'd watch this tournament. And I always wondered why there was never a University of Florida team. Well, there is now. Kind of tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, man, it's funny. Last summer, I was actually at Coach Donovan's beach house up in Crescent Beach, and we had played golf. For those who don't know, Coach Donovan really got into golf during the bubble. When those guys had to go to the bubble in Orlando, there was nothing else to do to play golf. So when he was the head coach at Florida, he wasn't very good, but he's gotten better. So I was up there playing golf with him last summer. And Torian Green, Anthony Grant, Donnie Jones, Tom Williams. There's so many people that were there. Scott Webster, Tracy Paff, her husband Jack. We were all at Coach Donovan's house, almost like a reunion. And I was sitting there talking to Torian, who's now a part of the staff under Todd Golden, and the TBT was on. And we're watching it on Coach Donovan's back porch at his beach house. And I said, why does Florida not have a team? And Torian agreed. And Brian Klatsky, who's a big supporter of the University of Florida, got behind it and started a team. I had an initial conversation with Brian back in March, and there was already some guys that had signed up to play. Corey Brewer, Kayvon Allen, Keith Stone, I think, were the first three, along with Lee Humphrey, Torian Green, and Walter Hodge. And they approached me about coaching it. And I was like, man, I was excited. You know, I miss competing. I love doing television this past season, but I miss being out there on the floor and competing. And when they approached me about it, to be able to go back to Gainesville for a 4-day training camp, to be in the facility, man, I couldn't say no. And like you said, to start this call off, I am a Gator. I graduated from the University of Florida. My dad played football there with Coach Spurrier. So I've been a Gator my whole life. And to be able to now go back, be back on that floor and coach some former Gators, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's very cool. So you just said y'all are going to be back in Gainesville for a 4-day training camp. Is that all you're going to practice before
That's all
you
we
go
get.
play this thing?
That's all we get. It's like NBA Summer League, you know. And I've reached out to some NBA coaches who have coached Summer League and just try to get their advice on how do you approach such a short training camp to be able to play a game, you know. And everyone's advice was pretty similar. Look, you're dealing with pros. You know, a lot of these guys are currently still playing. And they're making money playing the game, and you're not going to have to sit here and explain guys how to do some things 8 or 9 times. You're going to tell them how to do something once, and they're going to pick it up. I'll rely a lot on Corey Brewer. He's an NBA coach right now. He's a coach for the Pelicans. Once his playing career stopped, he immediately got right into coaching, and he's a guy that I'll definitely rely a lot on, throughout training camp. And you put in some concepts, you got some quick hitters you got to be ready for that Elam ending. Whoever has the lead, whatever the score is, they add 8 points on to whatever the lead is, and that's the number. The clock stops, the shot clock will still run, and under that, once there's a dead ball in the last quarter under 4 minutes, whatever the score is, you add 8 points on to the leader, and that's the target you have to hit. And it's the first one to that number, and you win. So you better have some quick hitters for that Elam ending ready to go.
Very interesting. So let everybody know when the tournament starts. Is it single elimination, double elimination? How's it work?
It's single elimination. It's like the NCAA tournament. We'll start training camp on July 20th. We're having an exhibition game at Santa Fe Community College, kind of a fan fest. We're trying to get as many former Gators back in that building as possible for that. That'll be on the 22nd. So we get a little bit of an exhibition and a scrimmage that we're still trying to put together. And then July 25th, 4:00, we tip it up, and it's on ESPN. It's live. Like you said, to start the call off, look, late July, there's really nothing on television, right? NBA basketball is over. You do have Major League Baseball. There's no college sports. College World Series is over. All the major championships in golf are done. So people are dying to watch something. And that's how the TBT really got started by ESPN 6-7 years ago, whenever it was. So July 25th, 4 p.m., we tip it up in Louisville. We'll be playing in Freedom Hall. We've got Maryland in the first round. They've got a good team, Melo Trimble, Jake Layman, who played in the NBA. Me and Coach Pelfrey tried to get him to come to Florida. He took a visit to Maryland, was supposed to visit us the next week, and he committed on the spot. He played in the NBA. He's a really good player. So it'll be a big challenge for us in the first round. But July 25th, 4:00, we'll tip it up in Louisville and Freedom Hall.
We got a text on the Titan Mar text line from Jonathan. He says, Matt, the winner gets $1 million. Is that correct? Do the teams have to pay to be in this tournament?
Well, obviously you've got to pay your travel, your travel expenses, all those things in place. The winner does get $1 million. Brian Klasky, we'll call him our GM. We kind of let him handle all the particulars in terms of how that's getting divided up amongst the players. But there is a fee to pay. Again, Brian, who's a huge supporter of the University of Florida, has really done an unbelievable job piecing this whole thing together with his whole team. He's got people that work for him that pump the social media and do all things that are really trying to create some buzz and excitement. Obviously, Shane, for us this year, the goal is to win. I mean, we're not going up there and just wanting to get like a participation trophy. We want to win, but we also want to create buzz to be able to get more guys involved in this moving forward. This is the first year, so you can't really we didn't get as many guys on the team as we wanted. We kind of got started a little bit late there, piecing together the rest of the roster. So some guys already had summer plans. Nobody that's currently under NBA contract can play as a player. Obviously, Corey Brewer's under contract as a coach, but as a player, you cannot participate. So you got some guys that are participating in summer league. You've got some guys that have already had plans over the summer that just couldn't get out of them. So that's kind of the goal, is to create a level of buzz. So moving forward, more former Gators want to be a part of this.
So how many players do you have on your roster?
Right now we have 12. We have 12 guys on the roster. We got some older guys. We got Lee Humphreys over there.
I was going to ask you about Lee. Lee's been sitting his butt next to Mick Hubert and Sean Kelly calling games. I just can't.
I talked to Lee the other day. Lee said he's working out, man. Lee said he's in there. He said, Coach, I'm running and shooting. I said, well, that's all we need you to do, Lee. We need you to run and we need you to shoot. Don't worry about doing anything else. But no, I think having 12 guys, once you get closer to the date, you never know what's going to happen. Things pop up. I mean, this is not, these aren't college players. Some of these guys have families and responsibilities, and you don't know, what's gonna pop up as we get closer to the day. So hopefully everybody does make it to training camp. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. I mean, you never know what happens there. We had a front court player that's actually not a former Florida Gator that was going to play with us, that because we needed some more depth up in the front court, and ended up tweaking his knee. So these guys are professionals. They're playing overseas. And, we wanted to keep 12 guys on the roster, just heaven forbid anything pop up as we get closer to training camp.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because, I've watched it in the past in the summertime, and I watched, whether it's the Marquette team or somebody, and they have a couple of guys that didn't play at Marquette. How does the league or the tournament go about you having players from another university? Do they care?
No, they don't really care. I mean, you've got Overseas Elite, which is a team made up of guys that strictly play overseas. For us, it was all right. Let's approach the Gators first. Okay, who's in? Who wants to be a part of this? Who can't? Who's got things popped up on their schedule? Different things like that. So we tried to get as many former Florida Gators as we could to start, and now it's okay. Where do we need some more bodies? Where do we need some more depth? And really, for us, it was in the front court. So then it was, the state of Florida. Who did I recruit while I was at Florida that maybe is from Florida, that lives in Florida now, that, ended up going somewhere else for whatever reason. So tried to approach some of those guys after, some of the other Gators were locked up and some of the other Gators, had responsibilities over the summer.
And Torian Green, is he going to be a player and a kind of an assistant coach?
Yeah, he didn't really know what he wanted to do. He was kind of going back and forth. And then, listen, he loves to play. Obviously, being involved in the NBA under Coach Donovan's staff in Chicago, he was a workout coach. So he's still in pretty good shape. But I've told him he better get in better shape because we're going to need the ball in his hands for that Elam Indy.
Yes, indeed. Another text here on the Titan MR text line from Charlie. He says, Matt, with your involvement in coaching college basketball, how difficult is it now with NIL?
Oh, man. I think you talk to a lot of these college coaches. Here's my thing with everything. I know COVID was hard for everybody, but in terms of college athletics, trying to manage that. My year at UMass during COVID, we only got to play 15 games. We had beaten our rival Rhode Island on a Saturday night on ESPN, and the next day the state of Massachusetts shut us down for 2 weeks leading up to the conference tournament. So any momentum that you started to create immediately could be shut down and put on hold. And that was a challenge for everybody, mental health for these guys that had to quarantine and different things. And okay, now we're going to come out of COVID and we're going to throw you transfer portal and NIL at the same time. Go. And really, no rules, no salary cap, nothing. And everybody is just trying to learn how to manage that. And oh, by the way, yeah, we still got to coach our team. So I think it's completely changed the landscape. There's got to be some semblance of leadership. There's got to be some semblance of rules, and this is how we're going to handle this. But everything hit at the same time. And for college coaches, you just started spinning. I think you talk to any of these college coaches, when the season ends, when the clock hits zero, that used to be the time where you took a step back, you caught your breath, you evaluated your team. How did we finish? Where did we end up? And where do we need to get better? And now it's, man, I just hope I don't get that text from some player that says, hey, coach, can we meet? Because when you get the text that says, hey, coach, can we meet? No reason to meet. You're already going in the transfer portal. I know it. Now I got to go find the next guy. So it's a huge challenge. And the fact that both things hit right after COVID, man, these college coaches right now are having to manage so much.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Another text on the Titan MR text line from Steven. He says, Matt, how did you like doing TV?
Oh, I loved it. All the officials before the game, they would come over and give me a hug and say, man, we like this version of Matt McCall over here, not stomping and jumping up and down and screaming at us. It was a new challenge. It was different. And I tried to approach it like I approached my coaching career and as prepared as I possibly could. I was fortunate enough to get on NBC, and I did, 6 or 7 NBC games and probably 4 or 5 studios for NBC. I think that's going to grow going into next year. I miss being on the sidelines. I'm not closing the book on coaching at all. It just has to be, the right opportunity for me and my family. As my kids get older, moving them around a bunch is a challenge. And, for us to move from South Florida where we live now, it's got to be with the right person. Love to be an assistant coach. Think I could really help someone after going through what I went through the last 7 years. Billy used to always tell me as an assistant, you don't know until you know. Well, now I know. So, not closing the book, but love TV, excited about, more opportunities, coming up this season. It was all about getting the experience last season. And, I guess I did a halfway decent job because it kept giving me more work. So, excited about the opportunities I could get this upcoming year.
Johnny's got a question here on the Titan MR text line. It says, apparently you're very close to Billy Donovan. Do you ever see him getting back to college?
That's a great question. Everybody wants to know that answer. I don't think you can say never, But I think Coach enjoys what he's doing right now. I think he enjoys, the basketball aspect. Obviously, he hasn't been in college in, 7, 8 years, whatever it's been. And the landscape has completely changed. And a lot of these college coaches, like we talked about, are beating their head up against the wall trying to figure this whole thing out. So I know Coach is happy. He spends his off season. The NBA's changed. There's not really much as an off season anymore, but he spends his off season over in Crescent Beach. He plays hammock dunes every single day when he's over there. And I'll tell you, man, when we used to go out to the University, of course, or Hale Plantation back when I was an assistant for him, he just had to talk trash just to hang in there. And he's gotten better. That NBA bubble really helped him.
That's funny. Real quick, I want to ask you about Todd Golden. I don't know if you know Todd at all, young guy, kind of like yourself. Just your thoughts of him taking over the Gator basketball program.
Well, first and foremost, I got to give a lot of credit to Mike White. And I know he's at Georgia now, but for Mike to step into the situation he did and take over for a Hall of Famer, you played for Coach Spurrier. You saw the football program go through different ebbs and flows. That's not an easy thing for anyone to do, to take over for a legend. And really, I thought Mike and Dusty May and his entire staff did a great job and, continued to lay that foundation. I think, Todd taking over the University of Florida at the time we're in terms of the landscape of college basketball is another challenge that him and his staff are having to manage and work together and work through. I think, he's a young coach, like you said, and you've got to give young coaches time to grow and develop and get better. I'm a better coach now, having gone through, a lot of adversity at the University of Massachusetts than I was when I was at Chattanooga winning 29 games thinking, hey, man, this thing's easy. We're going to the tournament every single year, and then this is what it's for. You've got to go through some stuff to learn. Matt Painter told me this last year. He was talking about, this was right after the whole UMass thing went down. He's like, man, I wish these athletic directors would just give these young coaches more time, because you don't know who you can coach, who can you recruit, your staff. Who's on your staff that you feel like these people around me can really help me and push this thing? I got to have the right people around me every single day, but really learn who you are as a coach. And he said to me, Matt Painter, man, I'm glad my AD gave me time, because I figured out who I was and who I could recruit. I didn't need to go after McDonald's All-Americans every single year. I wanted to go after guys that had a chip on their shoulder, that wanted to be part of Purdue basketball. So I think you just got to give Coach Golden time. He's young. He's a great coach. He's got a great mind. They did a good job recruiting this offseason. And, fans need to get excited about Florida basketball. But also, I know everybody wants to win. And you see those national championship banners hanging in there. Listen, what Coach Donovan did at the University of Florida, what Coach Spurrier did at the University of Florida, what Urban Meyer did at the University of Florida, that stuff is hard stuff to do. It is hard to do. And, the landscape is different. And Coach Napier and Coach Golden are both, relatively young coaches, and got to get behind them, got to support them, and give them some time to grow and develop.
No doubt about it. This is a great text here. It comes from Bobby. He says, Matt, did y'all have any discussions with White Chocolate to come play? Jason Williams?
I got a friend down here in the Jupiter area who's actually pretty close with them. He comes down to play the Grove. Actually, this shirt here is a Grove 23 shirt, Michael Jordan's golf course. And I know Jay Will shoots down here to play golf. I know Jay Will would be awesome. We're trying to get him maybe to come to the exhibition game and maybe flip it around a little bit, but I don't know if Jay Will wants to play. But we'll give him one more call and see if we can't squeeze him a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, before we let you go, again, let everybody know the training camp's going to be in Gainesville. Win the exhibition game. Who will y'all be playing against?
All right, we're still working on that. We're trying to get, former Gators, former walk-ons, former players to just come in and give us a run. Anybody that Brian Klasky is continuing to put all that together. We got another call today just to update everyone on where it's at. That'll be on the 22nd, which is a Saturday. We start training camp on the 20th, and then the 24th we'll travel to Louisville and, man, lace them up, tip it up, and let's see if we can't go win $1 million. Single elimination, 64 teams, just like the NCAA tournament, 9-minute quarters. Like I said, that first dead ball in the last quarter under 4 timeouts and Elam ending. Add 8 to whatever the lead is, and man, got to go finish the game.
That's crazy. Well, great stuff, Matt. I'm looking forward to that. So you said y'all are going to be playing that game on the 22nd?
22nd at Santa Fe Community College. There'll be a fan fest. Again, like I said, try to get as many Gators back there. I may give Chris Doring a call. Me and him used to play on the same men's league team over there at Gainesville Health and Fitness. We'll see if Chris can still run up and down a
Well,
little bit.
I was going to say I was I played the intramurals at Florida back in the day, and I was the 3-point champion for 3 straight years for the entire school.
Yeah.
Now, if you can promise me that nobody's going to cover me, I can knock down some threes against your guys. But other than that, I'm way too old.
Look, I was with Coach Spurrier 2 weekends ago at the big Silver 60s reunion with my father and Coach Spurrier and all the guys that played in the 60s, and he was telling some stories about the Jackson boys and hoops back in the day. You guys used to play against Anthony Grant and John Pelfrey and all those guys. So
we did.
Maybe you need to find some of your teammates. We'll get you guys in that exhibition.
Well, we had what we called the swamp shooters. So Kerwin Bell and I organized this deal where we would help raise money for high school athletic programs. And so they would pay us, let's just say, a flat fee of $2,000 to come to Trinity Catholic High School to play against the faculty or whoever. And then we'd pay each player like $200 or $300 or whatever. But yeah, we used to have some battles, man. And we did a big fundraiser against a bunch of the coaches. And we've never lost. But, of course, Coach Spurrier brings out, I think it was Pelfrey.
Yep.
Billy.
Anthony Grant.
And then he had damn Artist Gilmore come in. And we're just all these 6'2", 6'3" guys. We had no chance against Artist Gilmore. So it was a lot of fun. But we appreciate your time, man. Good luck.
Absolutely,
and
Shane.
Hopefully we'll see you in Gainesville.
You got it, my man. Thank you.
That's Matt McCall. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Let's get to Silverback Concrete. It's a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete. You stand on it, we stand by it. Matt McCall, we appreciate his time. Tremendous young man. Comes from a great family. Some diehard Gators. His dad did play with Coach Spurrier back in the day, the Silver 60s. And good basketball coach. Had some really good run at Chattanooga. Didn't work out at UMass, but that happens a lot. So good to see him coaching this squad. Should be a lot of fun. We'll try to get some of these players on, but I didn't realize they only have 4 days of practice, then they go play. So should be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people don't really know about this basketball tournament, but should be pretty good. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Again, I want to thank Matt McCall and JC for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. That's going to do it for today's program, folks. Appreciate everyone following our program. Again, we have our contest going on. I think we're going to draw August 9th for that. So make sure you send it out, whatever you're supposed to do, retweet it, have your friends and family follow our programs. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.